Hello, world. Brian here again. Welcome to episode 2 of my Science for God ministry. So, I'm not sure about that. That's what I decided to call it. I'll tell you what, if that doesn't catch you at all, give me some ideas. Just shoot me out some messages or otherwise make comments. Shoot me some ideas if that one doesn't grab you. Anyway, today I've decided I'm not going to talk about the Big Bang and Genesis 1 in the beginning and do a comparison between those two. Instead, I've decided that I would like to focus on the why. Basically, the why of, I want to share with you why I believe the way that I do. There's a story behind it, and I feel like this would be a good place to put it right here in episode 2. So anyway, I'm going to start off with kind of a prelude, if you will. And so I'm going to go back to 1979. I just pretty much fresh out of the military, out of the Air Force. And I really didn't, I was, 22, I think, at the time. And really didn't put a whole lot of thought into God or Jesus or religion at all at that point. I was having fun, just found it was kind of like newfound freedom, so to speak. Anyway, that same year, I had a 1978 Dodge van that I had bought, kind of a neat van in that it was a 4-speed on the floor, and most vans didn't have that. But anyway, I digress. That's neither here nor there. The main thing, the main part of the story is that I'd gotten in 2 major car accidents that year. And the story behind these car accidents are a little bit on the odd side, I suppose. Either of them could have easily taken me out of the picture permanently. So the first one, I was actually driving, this was in 1979, not long after I'd gotten out of the military. I was driving in the rain, and it was freshly paved road at that point. And I had come up on, I was doing the speed limit, everything was fine, but maybe my tires might have been a little on the bald side, maybe. I hadn't changed them at all in over a year. So anyway, I came up on this curve, and it had been raining, and the van started to feel a little bit funny. What had happened was my front tires started to hydroplane. I'm sure most of you know what that is, but for those who don't, it's when the tires, your tires are no longer gripping the road, and instead they're sliding along the water on top of the road. This is usually caused by oil buildup, oils and stuff like that from automobiles driving along the roadways. When it rains, the oils will come to the surface of the water wherever it is there, and sometimes your car can hydroplane on that, and it can cause you to just slide. You're really not making contact with the road at all. So this is what had started to happen, and I was trying to get it under control. You don't want to hit your brakes. It's like driving on ice. So what I did was I just let off the gas, and I didn't have a lot of time to think about it, but I let off the gas, and I was trying to turn back into my lane. I was trying to kind of ease the wheel over. But anyway, my front tires came in contact with the gravel off the road and immediately catapulted me over into the opposite lane, the oncoming traffic lane. And wouldn't my luck have it, there was a car coming right at me. So I turned the wheel to get over back into my lane. And when I did, it was still kind of slippery out. The van actually spun around backwards and went backwards into a street sign and then off the road, and it rolled over one time and came back up on its wheels. And I was really fortunate. I mean, the ground that I'd rolled over into was soft and spongy and marshy kind of ground. So when I rolled over, I came back up on the wheels, and I was checking myself out to make sure I was okay. And it turns out I had a single scratch on the back of my left leg, and that was all I got out of that. Some guy came out of his house, and this happened right in front of his house. He had already called the police, so got EMTs and police heading on the way there, and but I was okay. He yelled out at his front door, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm okay." And he asked me if I needed to make a phone call or anything. I said, "Yeah." So anyway, everything turned out okay there. The van was totaled. It rolled over one time. They totaled the van. And so the main part of this is that, I got in a car accident. It seemed like that big of a deal at the time. It was nighttime also. And so it was probably about a month later. I wanted to see where this had happened. I wanted to go back and have a look at the scene to see where this had actually occurred. And so I drove back out there, and to my huge surprise, I mean, I was very much surprised at what I saw. There was about the area that I had rolled over in was about 100 to 150 yards of soft, spongy, marshy ground right there. On either side of it, on one side of it was a grove of trees, and on the other side was a cement embankment where it was like a water runoff area. So yeah, either one of those, if I'd have gone, 50, 60 yards in one direction, I'd have rolled over right into a grove of trees and probably not been here today. And by the same token, 100 yards or so the other way, same kind of thing. And there was really nothing. I mean, you could go like a mile, mile and a half on either side and find nowhere where it would have been safe to roll over and to have an accident. So that was really the only place, this tiny little patch of ground there, the only place where I could have come out of it and been okay. So, and like I said, at that time, I wasn't thinking much about it. My mom always told me, hey, it wasn't just luck, God sent an angel to watch over you. Well, of course, I kind of scoffed that off at the time. But then later on the same year, I think towards the end of the year in December, I got in another car accident. And this one, I was driving my dad's car that he had loaned me. And I was coming back from dropping my girlfriend off at her mom's house at the time. And on the way home, I fell asleep at the wheel. And I was doing probably about 50 miles an hour, I'm thinking. So I fell asleep at the wheel and went off the road and actually wedged the car in between two trees. But when that happened, of course, that was a sudden, very sudden stop, but it wasn't a square-on impact. So I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. It was an older car, and the impact of that, I slammed my face into the steering wheel and broke my nose. And my lower back got damaged from that as well. So I was really fortunate that was it. There were some, what I was told later, because of course I was out of it for hours. When I came to, I was already in the hospital. My mother was there. I guess I had told the doctors who to call, but I don't remember any of that. And so she was already there. She was standing over my bedside and pretty much told me everything that had happened. I guess according to her, 4 hunters came upon me where this had happened, and they got me out of the car and called an ambulance. And then the ambulance came and took me to the hospital. The doctor had told her that I was losing spinal fluid through my nose, and that was how hard the impact was to the steering wheel. So as a result of that, he pretty much told her, that I was in God's hands, and that was it. They couldn't do anything. So obviously I'm still here today, so I made it through that okay. It was a little bit of a rough patch there as well, but I made it, so I'm still here today. So the reason I'm telling you this is that today, with the belief that I have today, I really do believe that God was watching out for me, and that either he or his angel, he had sent an angel or angels to watch over me and protect me. I don't have any other, nobody gets quite that lucky. It's that those were two pieces of luck in the same year that just to me seemed to be a little bit too lucky, if you will. So later on, I want to get into why I believe the way I do now at this point. So later on, and now we're talking like the year 2000. I was sitting at work one day, and just, I don't know why, but out of the blue, the thought of God came into my head. It just popped in there. And so I said a little prayer. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna talk to God. I want to see. I just want to say something and let him know how I feel real quick. So I said a little prayer, and I said, Lord, if you're up there, if you're here, if you're real, my impression has always been that you probably know me better than I know me, and that being the case, you should know that you should know me well enough to know that I'm a pretty analytical type thinker. So just because somebody tells me I have to believe a certain way, that's probably not going to happen. So I'm asking you, just asking you to please, if you're there, if you're real, give me something I can sink my teeth into. I said, I'm not asking for a miracle. I'm not asking for you to prove yourself. I'm just, I'm not being a smart aleck about it or anything like that. I'm honestly and sincerely asking, if you're really there, to give me something. Give me something that I can sink my teeth into, something that I can run with. And that prayer was the onset of the next 20 years of getting things right and left. I mean, it all started probably a couple of weeks after I said that prayer. A couple of weeks later, I got a magazine at work. It's called Wired magazine. It's a tech mag, and I used to read it. Being the kind of work I'm in and stuff, I used to read that magazine in particular. Had a lot of great articles in there dealing with tech, basically, at the time. So I found an article in this particular issue that was creationism versus evolution. And I was really surprised to see an article like that in a tech mag. So I read it. I was curious. I wanted to see what their take on it was. So I read it, and the take by the author of the article was more in favor of evolution, or not evolution, I'm sorry, more in favor of creationism and the possibility of creative design. He did not see where evolution could be even a possibility, okay? And of course, since then, I have received all kinds of stuff that proves to me, anyway, in my opinion, proves the existence of God. And not only the existence of God, but that He is in our lives, and He watches over us, and He protects us, and He keeps us safe and blessed. Every day that we ask for His blessing, I believe that He gives us His blessing. And so that's how I feel about it. And I just wanted to share this story with you to let you know where I'm coming from and why. And so from this point on, we'll go on. The next episode will be episode 3, and this one, I can assure you, I will get into Genesis and the Big Bang and Big Bang Theory, and we'll take it from there. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a great day today, and I love every one of you, and I hope you have a very, very blessed day. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.